Okay, I think I'm live. I don't know if this is working. I've never done this before. This is fun. Okay. All right. So let me just get my bearings here because I've never done this before. My dog is eating, so there will be background noise. Let's see. Do I have an option to make this save so I can make it a video later? I don't know what I'm doing. All right. Okay, well, I don't really see an option to save it afterwards. Tell me things, YouTube. Tell me things. Give me answers. I've had now for anybody that's going to watch this afterwards. Maybe I shouldn't. Let's see. To replay. Oh, it looks like I think I might just be set to already exist afterwards. Okay, well. This is my first club chat room as well as my first live YouTube attempt at being live. So I'm like really out of my element here, and yeah, this is way out of my usual scope of what I do. However, I want to be able to use this as an opportunity to just like figure it all out and get started, so that hopefully next time I do this, when someday I do have an audience, it won't be such a hot mess. That's the goal. So basically I wanted to talk about the return of cruises and travel. I've been seeing a lot of videos and articles lately about the cruise industry making its big comeback, and there's all these plans for Disney's launching a new cruise ship for 2022 and everything. So the countdown is on for Cayman as well as for everywhere. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about it and what that might look like for Cayman and what that might mean for Cayman, because Cayman has managed to stay fairly isolated from the word that we're not going to say. There's a couple words we're not going to say on my channel, one of which is the P word. So we're going to say panorama instead of the actual P word, and the other one is the C word, which we're just going to avoid altogether, or the C acronym, whatever. Anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about. So yeah, with that said, I wanted to jump into the current situation in Cayman and how it's been handled so far, because it has been handled really well. Like I said, they've managed to stay pretty isolated from everything that's going on. And so obviously when things ramp back up, that's going to be an adjustment for the island, because they've been a long time now without a swarm of visitors like what they're used to with 5 to 7 cruise ships in a day. Back in a year and a half now? How long has it been really since they've had cruise ships? Just over a year? So yeah, it's been a minute. It's going to be an adjustment when things open back up fully. And I want to discuss with you guys what that probably will look like, what you think that they should do, if you have any concerns of your own or questions, if you live there or if you're planning to travel there. Please come in the chat and drop questions for me, or things that you want to share. I'm going to read them out just so you guys are all aware. I'm live on Clubhouse right now as well, so that if anybody's on there, they can go in the Cayman Club and actually ask me questions vocally, and you guys will be heard on the YouTube live stream if you do choose to do that. So yeah, the goal is to make this really interactive. I've been on Clubhouse a lot lately, so that's why I chose that app to kind of do this in tandem with, but I know I might have a lot of Android viewers. So in the future, let me know if you guys would prefer me to use a different platform for that. I've been looking at apps like Fanbase, as well as I've heard Twitter has like talk rooms. I know Facebook's, theirs is in development right now, I believe. At least I haven't seen anything go live. I'm not on Facebook that much, to be honest. So maybe Twitter. I don't know. Let me know what you guys would like. If you ever want to interact with the video like this, ask questions or share opinions, things like that. I want to use YouTube as a channel to have others who maybe don't like doing what I do, where they're on screen and they're actually like, hosting these topics. But you might have a voice. You might have something you want to say that you want to share. So I want to give you guys the opportunity to do that through me. So yeah, any feedback is welcome. I don't know if I'm doing this right. It looks like I have a few people watching now, so that's awesome. So yeah, if you are watching and you have something to say or any questions, please in the live chat, I would really appreciate that. So let's start out with the current state in Cayman. I want to talk about the current advisories and travel guidelines. It's an exhausting topic for me. I honestly don't love this whole current situation, which is why I'm not even bothering to travel right now. It's just like weird and stressful, and I want to enjoy travel, so I'm just waiting it out here at home, like my little twinkle kingdom. But I do want to talk about it so you guys are fully up to date on what the current situation is. So I'm going to tell you the websites that I have open right now. Feel free to open them up and follow along. I am on the visitcaymanislands.com website as well as exploregov.ky. And that is a government website for like the travel side of the government, the tourism side. So yeah, I'm just going to read you. I'm really nervous. Like I said, I've never been live before, so I'm going to sip on a tea while I do this to keep myself calm and somewhat hydrated. This is a lot of talking. Normally I do more takes in my YouTube videos so I can take breaks and stuff, but this is weird. Okay, so travel and overseas guidance. This is exploregov.ky and their panorama part of the website. I'm sure you'll find it. So they're saying basically keeping the spread of the. We are going to need something for the C word. Let's say the coral. The coral. I can't say the V word either. All of these words, YouTube, you're just killing me. Yeah, basically keeping the spread of the coral virus to a minimum in the Cayman Islands is a top priority for government. As of 1st October 2020, the Cayman Islands borders began a phased reopening, and entry is limited to select categories of travelers arriving by air. So still no cruise ships. The information needed to make informed travel decisions can be found below. Due to the fluid nature of the coral panorama, border decisions will continue to be evaluated and processes are subject to change. Travelers are advised to check the website frequently for the latest news and information prior to blah, 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 blah. Yes, so basically, here's the process. Is you have to actually apply for what they're calling essential travel. They have a whole like what you need to know section. Outbound travel is not really a problem, except for the fact that there's very few planes. So there's very few flights like coming and going right now, a lot less than usual. So you may have to go somewhere not to your destination and take a connecting flight from there to your destination. Okay, so let's go straight to the inbound travel section of their website. All right, so currently inbound flights to the Cayman Islands are available for Caymanians, permanent residents, work permit holders and their families, persons who own residential property within the Cayman Islands, students with a valid visa study in the Cayman Islands, persons with close family ties to residents or work permit holders, such as spouses, fiancés, parents, grandparents, siblings, persons approved by the Global Citizen Concierge Program, and any other visitors approved by the Travel Cayman team. So if you're not, if nothing on that list sounds like you're going to have to get in contact with Travel Cayman, plead your case, and see if they'll let you in. So that is the situation. All right. So all inbound travelers are currently required to, as of January 14th, 2021, undergo pre-arrival PCR testing if age 10 or older, undergo panorama testing upon arrival, which they count as day 0, and then again on day 15. So basically they're sticking with the 14-day quarantine period. And then you obviously have to remain in quarantine for that 14 days in between the 2 tests. Let's see. So allow 24 to 72 hours for offboarding process. This includes a negative test result and return of monitoring equipment. So not only are you quarantined for those 14 days, but they are monitoring you for the full extent of that quarantine to make sure that you're following the rules. So, and we have had a couple of cases of people actually be arrested for breaking that quarantine. That was some drama, so you can look up that story. I think I might have done a video on it a while back as well. So yeah, you can check that out there. All right. So that's the current situation if you want to come to Cayman. Only Cayman Airways and British Airways and certain charters that are pre-approved are traveling to and from the island. Yeah, so that's where we're at right now, and I want to talk about where we're going from there. My husband is home. Hello.
Very good.
I'm live, just so you're aware. He's excited. Okay. So, where was I? Right. Yeah, so that's where we're at currently. And what I wanted to discuss with you guys is what is going to happen from there. So now there's talk of cruise ships coming back as far as early as late this summer, potentially as late as 2022. But we know that it's happening now that vaccinations are, like majority of people are starting to get them all over the world. Lots of countries are reporting numbers that are allowing people to go back to festivals and all sorts of stuff. So cruise ships have started announcing things as well. So I wanted to have you guys share any opinions on that, answer any questions, and just kind of discuss. So we have Ruth Ann asking, is it possible prices go down on anything before the panorama is too much for vacationing? So I think she's asking if prices have gone down right now. I'm not currently on the island. For those of you who have been following my channel for a while, you'll know that I've been in Miami for basically since the panorama started. I got stuck here and just kind of bunkered down. So, but that said, from what I've heard, yes, things are currently cheaper down there. A lot of the hotels and resorts are offering staycation prices for people who live on the island. So yeah, if you're maybe taking a long-term trip down there, you can kind of call the hotels and be like, hey, what are your current prices for, people on island? And you might be able to swing a deal because they'll just kind of assume you're a resident. I don't think they're really asking from what I've heard. They just have lower prices because they want people to come in the hotels while there's like 99% fewer visitors than usual. So she's asking, will I go back to the island? Of course, that's definitely always going to be my home. So I'll be going back regularly as soon as I do start traveling again. It's just not red now. So you're welcome, Ruth Ann. I'm glad I could answer your question. So the last thing I want to discuss before I jump off, because I don't think we have any more questions, is the current start date for cruise ships. And I want to leave a question with you guys, so any viewers of this stream after the fact can answer in the comments below. So I'm very curious about all of your thoughts on this. I know it's going to be a touchy subject in Cayman, it already is. I want to talk about the current dates that these cruise ship companies are talking about hitting the high seas again. And what you guys think the Cayman government is going to do about it. Because I think that's just a really interesting topic for conversation, given that we have a basically brand new government right now, where a lot of the former decision makers have been voted out, and there's lots of new faces in government, that are going to be making those decisions. So it doesn't seem quite as predictable as it might have seemed maybe 6 months ago, when I would have said, oh, okay, cruises are starting on this date, so I guess they'll be landing in Cayman on that date. But now the game has changed. So I'm curious what you guys have to say about that. So based on recent articles by USA Today, the Miami Herald, CNBC, they're saying that cruises could restart soon with passenger voyages by mid-July. And what that means is a lot of cruise ships are actually going to hit the seas without making stops. So basically, they're just going to take people around and do like a little scenic tour and host more like events and shows and things on the ship and try to make like more of an experience of just staying on the ship. I know Disney's talking about doing that, as well as another few cruise lines have been kind of discussing that. And I think that is actually a little bit of what's been announced. From some of them, I'm not going to get into the specifics, but I might do a video on it if you guys are interested. But that said, if that goes well, then they're saying maybe by the end of this year or early next year that we'll see cruises actually making stops again, and not just on, the cruise ship's island that they specifically own. So my question to you guys is, what do you think that Cayman is going to have to say about that? What do you think is the date that they will go with as far as when they're going to let cruise ships back in? And how many passengers do you think they'll allow on the island at a time if they're going to put restrictions on that? And do you think that they will only allow passengers on that have these passports that people are talking about, the vaccination passports? I know that's another touchy subject, but it is something that is being discussed. So what do you think that's going to look like for Cayman? What do you think they should do? I know I have quite a few Caymanians that watch my videos, so I'd really like to know your opinions on this, and I might share them in a future video. So with that said, I just wanted to do a short stream to discuss that and bring up the questions and conversation and see what people think. So I will try to do more streams going forwards. It's scary territory for me, but that's why I'm keeping it short this time. So thank you guys who joined, and feel free to join again and jump in and participate with me. I'd love to hear your questions and your thoughts. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.